Hi and welcome to Whisky Shared. You're watching my Whisky Collection 2022. I'm Toby and you're watching Whisky Shared. Welcome to my Whisky Collection 2022. In this video I'll show you all the bottles that I have in my collection, both open and closed, and I'll let you know if I've reviewed them before. I'll put a link in the description to all the videos of those reviews, and if you see a bottle that you think I should review, then just let me know in the comments. Since last year I've had 68 new bottles, 9 of which were gifts, but I've also killed 39 bottles. The oldest was open 1022 days. I've got 68 open bottles in my collection in total, and the rest are closed. Should we find out what's in my collection? On to the whiskey. So starting with the world whiskies, we have the No Nonsense Whiskey Macmurda from Sweden, which I have reviewed. We have the High Coast Harv from Sweden. We have the Cotswolds Reserve, which is from England. We have the Cotswolds Bourbon Cask and the Cotswolds Handfill PX. We also have the English Somerton Club Edition, and we have the Bank Hall Sweet Mash, which is also from England, which I have reviewed. We have the Stauning Rye from Denmark, and we have the Starward Fortis from Australia. Moving on to my Bimber bottlings, we have the Small Batch Recharred Oak, which I have reviewed. We have the Ex-Bourbon Oak Casks Batch 1, which I have reviewed. We have the Peated Cask. We have the Oloroso Batch 2. We have the Ex-Bourbon Oak Casks Batch 2. We have the Selfridges Exclusive. We have the Virgin Oak London Whisky Club Edition, which I have reviewed. And we have the Sherry Cask number 42, which I have reviewed. We also have the Southport Whisky Festival and the Bimber Club numbers 1 and Bimber Club number 2. Moving on to the American bottlings, we have the Wild Turkey 101, we have the Wild Turkey Rare Breed, we have the Eagle Rare 10-year-old and the Sazerac Rye, the Knob Creek 9-year-old, the Jim Beam Single Barrel, which I have reviewed, and the Balcones Baby Blue. Moving on to my Jack Daniel's bottles, we have the Master Distiller Series numbers 3, 4, 5 and 6, and also the Single Barrel Barrel Strength. Moving on to my Irish whiskies, we have my Jameson collection, starting with the Jameson Bow Street 18-year-old 2019 edition cask strength. We have the 21-year-old cask strength, which I have reviewed. We have the original, which I have reviewed. We have the Caskmates IPA edition, which I have reviewed. And we have the Caskmates Stout edition, which I have reviewed. We have the Caskmates 4 Pure edition, which I have reviewed. We have the Crested, which I have reviewed. We have the Crested 8 Degrees Brewing edition. We have the Black Barrel, which I have reviewed. We have the Distillery edition. We have the Triple Triple. We have the Orange, which isn't actually a whiskey, and we have the Cold Brew, which isn't actually a whiskey. Moving on, we have the Tipperary 8-year-old red wine single cask. We have the Dubliner Coffee Stout. We have the Powers Gold Label Distiller's Cut, which I have reviewed. We have the Redbreast 12-year-old cask strength, which I have reviewed. We have the Green Spot Chateau Laville Barton, which I have reviewed. We have the Yellow Spot, which I have reviewed. We have the Red Spot, which I have reviewed. And we have the Teeling Black Pits, which I have reviewed. Moving on to my Pierce Lyons bottles, we have the 5-year-old single malt. We have the 5-year-old single malt cask strength. We have the 5-year original. We have the 7-year Distiller's Choice. We have the 12-year-old Founder's Choice. And we have the Marriage of Malt 2019. Moving on, we have the Napogue Castle 14-year-old Twinwood, which I have reviewed. We have the Sleeve League the legendary Dark Silky. We have the Samuel Gelston's 5-year-old single malt, which I have reviewed, and the Samuel Gelston's Pot Still, which I have reviewed. Moving on to Highland Whiskies, we have the Glengoyne 21-year-old, we have the Loch Lomond 19-year-old Royal Portrush, we have the Loch Lomond Single Cask 2006, we have the Loch Lomond 12-year-old, we have the Glenmorangie Kinta Ruban, we have the Glenmorangie La Santa, we have the Firkin 49 Tullibardine 2012, and we have the Clynelish Reserve Game of Thrones edition. We have the Glendronach Traditionally Peated, which I have reviewed. We have the Glendronach 8-year-old The Helan, which I have reviewed. We have the Glendronach 12-year-old Original, which I have reviewed, and the Glendronach 15-year-old Revival, which I have reviewed. The Glendronach 18-year-old Allardyce, which I have reviewed, and the Glendronach 21-year-old Parliament, which I have also reviewed. We have the Deanston 18, which I have reviewed. We have the Deanston Kentucky Bourbon Cask, which I have reviewed. We have the Scotch Malt Whisky Society 78.52 Jolly Nice Fruit and Spice. We have the No Nonsense Whisky Aberfeldy 6-year-old. We have the Krabby's Yardhead. We have the Single Cask Somerton Whisky Club Glenord, which I have reviewed. And we have the Wax House 001. Moving on to Speyside, we have the Douglas Lang 2006 Craigellachie 12-year-old, which I have reviewed. We have the Craigellachie 13-year-old. We have the Craigellachie 17-year-old. We have the Glenlivet Licensed Dram, which I have reviewed. We have the Glenlivet 12-year-old Illicit Still, which I have reviewed. We have the Wax House 005. We have the London Whisky Club Brave Owl from the Thompson Brothers. And we have SMWS 9.221, a lovely bunch of coconuts, and SMWS 41.140, raindrops on pine cones. Moving on to my small Lowland collection, we have Lindor's 1494, which I have reviewed. We have Glasgow Distillery's 1770 Somerton Edition 2020. We have the Glasgow Distillery 1770 Somerton Edition 2021. And we also have the Glasgow Distillery 1770 2009 Peated No. 1, which I have reviewed. Moving on to my small Campbeltown collection, we have the Springbank 12-year-old Cask Strength from 2020. We have the Glen Scotia 2007 The Grand Tour, and we have the Glen Scotia 14-year-old Tawny Port. Moving on to my Islay collection, we have the Bunnahabhain Stewardor, which I have reviewed. We have the Bunnahabhain Tokakagar, which I have reviewed. And we have the Bunnahabhain Moyna, which I have reviewed. We have the Ardbeg 10-year-old. We have the Ardbeg Anoa, we have the Bamore Fashil 2021, and we have the London Whisky Club Kalila from Thompson Brothers. Moving on to my Island whiskies, we have the Jura 18-year-old, we have the Tobermory 12-year-old, and we have the Highland Park Saltire 2, which I have reviewed. Moving on to my blended whiskies, we have the Dewar's Double Double 21-year-old, which I have reviewed. We have the Seneki 40-year-old blended malt. We have the Dewar's Japanese Smooth, which I have reviewed. We have the Dewar's Ilegal Smooth, which I have reviewed. We have the Dewar's Portuguese Smooth, which I have reviewed. And we have the Whiskey Baron Somerton Club Edition, which I have reviewed. So hopefully you found that interesting, seeing all the whiskies in my collection. As I said before, if you'd like me to review any, then just let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.
I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, why not give it a like or a comment,
and please consider subscribing for more videos like this.